Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm on a video with Ed Leake, the PPC specialist from God Tier Ads. If you want to download his checklist, click the link in the description below. I'll leave a link. I basically wanted to say that I am a complete amateur in the PPC field. Like, I don't know much about paid advertising. I'm kind of focused on SEO, organic SEO and things like that. So I just really wanted to learn as much as I can. So I've basically taken some questions off your Facebook. I know we didn't get many, but
I'm not very popular on my group, am I?
No. So I thought, we'll just take some off there, and then I'll just ask you kind of more about your business and how you actually became who you are. How you came up with God Tier Ads and things like that. More focus on that side rather than really getting into the technicalities of PPC and stuff like that. Does that sound all right?
You just throw them at me. That's all right.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to find out. Yeah, I just want to find out how you started, how you got into, PPC and paid advertising, things like that. Or was it always paid advertising? Or?
No, I was a complete nerd. So I'm 38 now. How old are you?
I am 20. So.
Bloody hell. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was 20, what was I doing? Hold on. When was I 20? 1999?
Yeah.
No, 2002. Okay, maybe I wasn't. So anyway, I started as I was a proper nerd at school, but people didn't know I was a nerd. I hid it. I was into computer games big time, and back in the mid 90s, there wasn't a PlayStation. There was a Mega Drive and a SNES and stuff, and PC games were seen as very, very nerdy. But I was a massive fan of Quake 2 because it was multiplayer. And back in the day, online and internet gaming was like, it wasn't a thing. But if you were me, it was a thing and it was amazing. It was a new thing. So it all stemmed from that. So getting into gaming made me want to build computers or play around with computers. So in my mid-teenage years, I then discovered the internet, websites and so on. So I started building websites, started building computers. When I was about 15, I was selling computers in the local paper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was brilliant because when people used to turn up to the house, they'd talk to my dad and he'd be like, no, you want to speak to the boy. The boy's in the garage. And these people would, in the 90s, computers were bloody expensive. They were thousands of pounds.
I can imagine, yeah.
Dollars. And these poor people turned up and talking to little old me and handing over their money. But it was, so that kind of got me into technology, as it were. And I built websites off the back of that, just as because I was interested. The internet was so novel back then. There was no Google. There was GeoCities and all that sort of stuff. And I created a website called Maximum Hardware because I had what I think was a genius idea at the time. So computer equipment was really expensive, and I needed like top of the range graphics cards and stuff to play Quake Arena. Now, anyone my age and older will remember Voodoo and 3DFX. So if anyone's old watching this, that they should remember those two names. They were like the godfather of the graphics cards. We've got AMD and Nvidia now, but back then, if you had an Orchid Righteous 3DFX, you were cooking.
You were up there, yeah.
You could produce 3 polygons on the screen. So I got one of them, but I got one of them by reviewing it. So I had a hardware website. Essentially, it was Maximum Hardware. I thought, if I reach out to all these companies selling all these pieces of equipment, I could review them for them and they would send me them. And it worked. So there's a company called Epox, for example, used to be around. I think they got eaten up by Asus or Asus. They sent me a box full of their latest motherboards, and they were worth 200 or 300 quid each. So I literally got a delivery of these motherboards that were worth 2 or 3 grand.
Wow.
I would review 2 of them. And bear in mind, I was a kid. I mean, I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
I'd review them, write up an article, take photos, and then I'd sell them on eBay.
Wow. Excellent.
So that, and that went on for a few years. And then my mother, who, bless her, essentially said that I should get a proper job. And then I moved into IT.
Right, I see.
Worst thing I ever did. So I got a proper job, which paid less, was far less interesting, and I tried to keep doing my thing on the side, but I was just, I feel like when you're younger, you have less awake hours, if that makes sense. You seem to sleep more. So when I was a kid, I seemed to struggle to do like a 10-hour day. So I'd get home and I'd be like, I don't want to work on my bloody website. As an adult, don't seem to like need as much sleep. I don't know, it's weird. Maybe it's just a mindset shift. So yes, long story short, the other thing, I actually got into paid ads in 99, 2000, because I put banner advertising on MaximumHardware.com and sold them to companies like companies that produce cooling, so like fans and stuff for gaming PCs, which is a big thing now, but back then it was kind of like a very niche and geeky. But they'd still pay me a few $100 a month for the banner space, and I'd have 3 or 4 of them on rotation.
Decent.
Yeah, so that was it. Proper old school, no Google. Still got 1 million hits a month. Sold banner ads for cheap, but made the money by getting companies to send me lots of hardware equipment, which I sold on eBay to pay for my computer and other stuff.
That's excellent, really. Young entrepreneur, really, I guess you could say.
I mean, carried on.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, well, fairly young, I mean, I still am young, obviously, but when I started up just selling T-shirts online, just selling like printed T-shirts and things like that. So I was really into skateboarding and things like that, and I was really into doing all that kind of stuff. And but we ended up like making bags and making like hats and things and embroidering on them and like making designs and stuff. And we ended up selling them on one of those cheap. I think it was Big Cartel. Have you ever heard of Big Cartel?
Yes.
Yeah. It was that's kind of how I got into the kind of website design space. I guess it kind of interested me. But how were you designing the websites? Were they completely custom when you were doing them, or were they kind of
from page 98?
Right.
And by hand. So like handballing HTML. There was nothing. Really basic CMS, which was like a script driven thing on the server side. So you'd essentially FTP into the CMS. It was like really old school. I mean, we don't know how good we've got it now. There was no analytics. It was server-side reporting, so you'd have to log in and pull the reports off just to see pretty useless reports and stuff. Yeah, it was old school. But there was certainly no Big Cartel and Redbubble. Is it Redbubble, the other one, I think? An Amazon Marketplace. I mean, those things are, to be fair, brilliant now for people who are young and enthusiastic, or even old and enthusiastic. Doesn't matter on the age, does it? To try, try something like t-shirt printing. It's a relatively simple way to get in with low overheads and stuff like that. And I think that's why dropshipping has become so popular, because you can remove quite a bit of risk. You can play around and see how far you get with it. It's probably a bit saturated now, dropshipping, but it's the same sort of thing. Like those things, if they existed when I was a kid, I think I probably would have had some kind of biological computer screen insertion in my eyes or something, because I wouldn't be able to get off the computer. I mean, I'd be I mean, and I think when I was a kid, I was probably one of the only people that had an internet connection, because I essentially told my dad I'd pay for the bloody phone line because I was actually making some money off these websites. For sure. It's a good way. I mean, as I say, young entrepreneurs, I guess you could kind of see the spark when you're early in terms of starting a business and things like that. And it went to shit from then because I went and worked in IT.
So, well, I guess you have to do some bad jobs to realize you never want to do them again. That's kind of what they say. When you like playing Quake Arena on the internet and shouting at people, it's not the same when you go to work with computers and change hard disks on a Dell
desktop that's broken. It's just not the same thing. So as a kid, you think, oh yeah, I'm going to work in computers. These things are
Yeah, for
interesting.
sure.
No,
Yeah,
not for me. No offense to anyone who's in IT watching, because they're probably like, yeah, I know the feeling.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, even with the drop shipping as well. I tried that when I was younger, with the Shopify. Yeah, that was like the next. That's like a big time e-commerce platform at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Shopify, I believe.
yeah.
And you could connect it up and things like that. But it just seemed a bit, because you'd have to wait 14 days or something for the person to receive their parcel and things like that, and it just seemed a mess, because you'd get all these complaints asking
Yes.
where's my item and things like that. So, as much as people, all these gurus say they're so good and you should try dropshipping, you should try this and things like that, it's not always as good as it makes out to be.
It's crap, because it's Alibaba, AliExpress. It's just poor user experience, because the customer's waiting for 30 days or 14 days if you're lucky. I think 14 days is good. When I first started drop shipping 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. I've tried twice. One was successful. The later one wasn't, because the market was saturated. But yeah, it was like 20, 30 days. I sold, oh God, I'm not even sure I should admit this. Ladies' leggings, Christmas leggings. For $20 to $25, and it blew up. I started at the end of October, and I'm weird like this. I'll sit there at the weekend and be like, oh, I know what I should do. I should set up a shop, populate it with products, and advertise it. And that'll be on a Sunday morning. And come Monday, I've got the website live, the adverts are running, and Tuesday it's making money. It made me £27,000 running up to Christmas. 2 months. I spent probably, I can't remember, about 11 grand on Facebook ads. And this is the thing, you need the money. So you need to make the money prior to your idea to then invest it in your next one. So it's very easy for me to go, oh yeah, I just chucked 11 grand in.
No worries.
But then it's the years before that made me made the money. So yeah, that was fun, but that was many years ago, and I'm sure if I tried to repeat that and do it now, it wouldn't be as successful, because there's probably 50 people doing the same bloody thing.
Same thing.
And also the other bad thing of that is that you're kind of down a rabbit warren, because forever I saw adverts about leggings on Facebook. Because Facebook's all of a sudden, this Ed Leake guy, he's interested in ladies' leggings. So now we're just going to show him adverts for leggings.
Well, you never know.
So it maybe look a bit, well, yeah. I mean, hey, if you want to wear ladies' leggings, that's entirely up to you. It's just not my cup of tea.
For sure, no, that's it. I mean, I kind of did something similar. We started off with phone cases, which was quite standard. And then they were like, I mean, they were quite cheap, easy to ship. I know we're going off topic here, but they were easy to ship, and they were cheap and things like that. And then they actually worked quite well, because you could have like your favorite music artist on the phone case and things like that. And then I tried photography equipment, and that was probably the worst idea I've ever had, because it's like well, I mean, I was thinking I'll just sell the cheap parts of photography equipment, like I don't know, they were like lighting rings and things like that, but a lot of them arrived like to the customers like broken, and they weren't working, and there was lots of issues with them. So I was just, that's why ladies' leggings and phone cases and things like that are just easy. It's quite hard for them to break.
This is the problem with drop shipping. Customer care, and just by default, drop shipping is really poor for customer care because of the shipping situation, and product quality from AliExpress can be, I know there are other platforms, but that's the one. And the problem with what I was doing, leggings, is that it's clothing, so people would try it on and they might want to send it back, and I had nowhere for them to send it back to, so I'd just say, I'll just keep it and I'll refund you, which is actually probably easier than anything. The problem with but they're lycra, so they were elasticated, so that you'd kind of make them fit. Phone cases' problem is that they're so cheap that you have to sell thousands of the bloody things to make money. And then, as you say, on the flip side, if you start selling complicated or expensive stuff, you are really reliant on the person sending the stuff from China, because let's face it, it's where it comes from, being on point and reliable. And that's it. that's 90% of drop shipping, finding a good supplier, a good shipper, and a good product. That's all it is, because beyond that, I mean, everyone's doing the same thing. So yeah, probably not ideal.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so I just wanted to find out how you kind of went from the IT, kind of working at the IT place, to then starting God Tier Ads, right? And how you got to that point.
I did the agency first.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So, so I was in IT. Oh God, you're asking me age stuff now. Until I was 27, I think. 11 years. And all along I was doing IT for a different company. I contracted as well, did some project management. Still didn't enjoy that. But on the side, I was still dabbling. I was still making the odd website. I had a few side projects I was trying. I always tried something like a website so I could make AdSense money from. I'd have an idea and I'd be like, oh yeah. So I was always fiddling. And then I just had enough one day, and I did probably the worst thing. I was in debt, had no bloody money, hated my job. I was making good money, but I was just throwing it away. And still living with my folks at 27. And I thought, you know what? Now is the time to quit my job and leave home with no money. So I literally, just threw myself in the deep end, and it was a sink or swim. So essentially it was like leave home, no money, and rent my friend's house, which was half finished. So he did me a deal. And then really fight for a few years to make any kind of money. And that's how I kind of threw myself into saying, well, okay, I'll make websites, do a bit of SEO, do a bit of PPC, which I've been dabbling with and learning. Because my learning style is just asphyxiate myself on the information till I cannot, like every book, every video, everything I can, and take notes, understand it, put it to use as well, because too many people learn without applying it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I'd apply it with my own money just to test stuff, even if I knew it'd come to nothing. So me and my friend, I think my friend saw my plight at that time, and we set up a company, the agency. It was a different company at the time. It only lasted a year because we didn't make any bloody money. But we were essentially making websites for people we knew, kind of knocking doors, essentially, like local businesses, and then doing SEO for them. It was a bit rudimentary, but we're talking about early 2010, 2011, so SEO was a bit easier.
Well, yeah, for sure.
A bit more spammy.
That's it.
A bit more grey hat, shall we say. And but then within quick time, there was opportunities to push a bit of AdWords on them. And as soon as I started to do AdWords for someone else and see results, and it was so instant if you did it right, and I made bloody mistakes. I mean, plenty of mistakes, but that fired something in me. I was like, hold on, this is brilliant. I've just put their quid in the machine. For anyone that's not British watching this, a pound sterling, not a quid, a dollar, whatever. And it's made 5 out the other side, or 7, or whatever, and that got me excited. Or it'd be like, oh, I'm spending £10 a day, and they're getting 2 phone calls, 2 inquiries. So that's what got me excited about it, more interested. And then from there on in, every time we got a website, I'd push, we should do PPC, we should do AdWords. Then I got a bit ahead of myself because we were making no money because we didn't know what we were doing. We started an agency, no idea what we're doing, undercharging for everything, working long days. And my friend, essentially, we went separate ways after a year and a bit because he hadn't quit his job, and I literally had, and I couldn't survive on the money because I think we made about $5,000 in the first year. So I said to him, look, I'm going to go my separate ways, because I didn't want to fall out with him either, but he obviously couldn't commit full time at that kind of income. Whereas I was like, well, gun ho. I was just like, you know what, money doesn't matter. I've I'm broke and I've got no money anyway, so it's not like it makes any sodding difference. So that's how I kind of jumped into it. And then from there, it was just a case of when the work came in, make sure it's pay-per-click. Oh, I did run PPC ads, like literally PPC agency, people looking for it, and it works. You know, it worked. That was 9 years ago, and picked up a few clients from there, and then just started to price test. So, you know, my first AdWords client, I charged 300 quid back in to manage it a month back in 2010. The third one was a small plumbing firm from London, a lovely bloke called Kevin, character. He clicked on my ad, he landed on the website, he gave me a call, and I charged him 900 quid. I thought, well, I'll see.
There you go. That's not bad.
I'll triple it. And he paid it happily. So the next one I charged $1,000. And then that was how I found pricing. And I mean, you can read books. You could probably go to university to learn about pricing, but my approach is keep putting the price up till people stop paying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, completely. Yeah, I see that.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of questions out of that, what you just mentioned there. First thing is, going back to the SEO, what kind of results did you see from the SEO that you were doing compared to the PPC? What kind of made you think, right, oh, maybe SEO is maybe SEO is not my focus. Let's start focusing on PPC or paid advertising.
I think the SEO was really frustrating because, and I don't know if it's the same today because I'm less involved in SEO. I know the fundamentals still, and I'm sure I can still get things to rank, but no guarantee. And you can do all the right things. You can get all the nice backlinks from the right places, and it can have no impact. Back in the day, we could pay a few $100s for some absolute garbage links, do all the wrong things, and we would be ranking. And I would look at that and I'd go, this cannot last. This is nonsense. Pay-per-click is so measured. You put your money in, you get money out. Or if you do it wrong, you don't get any money out the other side. Whereas SEO back then was so grey. And then coming into the sort of mid-2000s, 2013, 2014, we were doing more content-driven stuff. We did some amazing microsites for clients, and we charged them good money, like 5, 6, 10 grand for these microsites. All singing, all dancing, like animated, all this funky stuff, like great, like really solid content. Didn't rank for shit. And we got backlinks to them. We did outreach. We did all the stuff now that everyone preaches, and we were doing it 6, 7 years ago. And then we do another. In a completely different industry for someone else, and they would pay us $1,000, and they'd be ranking the next day, and we'd be like, well, so
must be missing the trick or something.
Well, I was like, okay, just give us 10 grand to put in pay-per-click, and we'll show you it works. And then that was normally the case, and they'd give us money for AdWords, and they'd be like, oh, this is good. We'll keep doing this. I mean, we were. So my agency, Midas Media, we were a full, what do you call it? I've even forgotten the bloody word now.
Full service or?
Yes, full service. We did everything. We did websites, we did SEO, we did the content, we did PPC. 80% of our revenue was Google Ads management.
Right, I see.
So when I did the numbers, no offense to my lovely team at the time, I literally, and it's my fault. It's all my fault. It was my business. I was running it. But I did the numbers, and 80% of the staff were not doing PPC, but 80% of the revenue and the profit was PPC. So I got my things in the wrong way around. Anyway, so we evolved more into a PPC agency as time went on. But we were always a PPC agency. We just said that we did websites and SEO, but the reality is, you know, the money for my agency was the PPC stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I always thought having obviously, let's say you haven't got the SEO, but let's say a website and PPC, surely they go together quite nicely, because if you have a very nicely designed website that's, you know, conversion rate optimized, things like that. You know, you've got the right buttons in the right places, the right content, the right images, the right videos. Surely that would work well with your because have you ever come across where you've obviously taken on a client for PPC and you're just doing PPC, let's say, for example, and their website is awful, really. It doesn't, you know, it's slow, it's, you know, not the right design and things like that. Would you then say, oh, let's redesign your website as well? Or how does that work?
Yeah, back in the day we did, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's that old adage. It's like, it doesn't, and it must frustrate small business owners in particular, because they don't necessarily understand if they've got a good or a bad website. They just see other people advertising. And it's like, well, if my competitor can advertise, why can't I? And it's like, because your website's awful. So that did go hand in hand. So now, because obviously I've been doing this a long bloody time, you know, I learned to be far more selective. And I know that sounds snobby, but life's too short to fight a bloody website that's not going to convert in a month of Sundays.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, so I, over the past 5 years, have vetted leads a lot harder. I vet them as hard as they vet us. I mean, I ask some tough questions, and we audit their analytics, their website, their ads, and we're like picking fault in things to say, well, you want to double your revenue, but you've got these hurdles in the way, and we don't want to take this on and look stupid if you don't fix remove the hurdles or allow us to help you do that. So serving small local businesses is tough, because they don't have the budget and all the know-how, all the time as well. You know, I'm a small business owner, and I do have the time because it's what I do, but you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they're more aligned with a package. You know, we'll do your website, we'll do your SEO, we'll do small PPC ongoing, we'll do your web hosting. You know, like a package sort of thing. On a smaller scale, I think makes more sense to a local business. Like, right, I commit to 500 quid a month or whatever, and as long as I'm getting results, I'll keep committing, sort of thing. It's good.
That's about that makes sense, because it's you know, I always thought from a small business perspective, maybe you wouldn't want to go, you know, for this guy for your social media, this guy for your website, this guy for your PPC, this guy, like, have a whole kind of, you want it all in one place, like you say, a full service agency.
Yeah, or a freelancer that can do it all. You know, a good one. Or who can manage that and outsource it to the right people, because a small business hasn't got time to manage all these people and what have you.
So definitely. So going back to how you kind of find the right client, what are some of the people you work with usually? What are the sort of niches you work with, like plumbing and things like that? Or
anything and everything. So we never niched down, and it's probably the nichest we became is to call ourselves a dedicated PPC agency. So to be honest with you, if I would have niched up sooner, and I would have created we did attempt it, to be fair, but mini brands so you'd have Midas Media, and then you'd have Midas Media Plumbing or whatever, PPC for plumbing. But we never did that. So we do everything. We do e-commerce. We literally sell anything from a pair of socks through to a really high-end piece of furniture. And then in terms of lead gen, we work with insurers. We work with manufacturers. We work with do we have any
services? As a home services, maybe that's quite a common one, isn't it? Like
I'm just like anything. I'm trying to pick out specifics, but it's anything and everything. But we've never got this. So it's a lot more difficult, because we haven't got specific case studies. So if you were only working with insurers, you could show them only insurance case studies, and it'd be more, and talk just to insurers in your marketing, in your website. It makes life easier. So I made life hard for us, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, it's because I remember there was some, obviously, would you say some niches work better than others? Obviously, like, you know, dentistry things like
Yeah.
that. There's always a demand for that, as opposed to selling a pair of socks, obviously, or, well,
Hey,
there's
we all
always
need
demand for
socks.
socks. Yeah, we all need socks. But if there was a very specific niche that maybe isn't as common as the others, or maybe not in demand, would you question whether to go with them because would the campaign work, or,
Yeah,
for
I
them?
mean, yeah, and so sort of going back to the drop shipping analogy, the niche is the product, isn't it? So if the product's no good, it's difficult. And there are certain niches that are very difficult for PPC, and they're typically the B2B stuff because the
Right.
volume is so small. Like people looking for a very specific IT service, it's a tiny number of people across the country. So it's really difficult. Whereas people looking for whatever, computer monitors, there's millions of us across the globe that buy kit and stuff like that. So you just have to use your brain when it comes to niches, or dip a toe and literally, I mean, go up to someone in that niche and say, "Hi, Mr. or Mrs. Niche. I've never worked in this niche before. We want to get some experience. Can we do some moonlighting for you?" I mean, even if it's free work, just to can we do an audit of your website, your analytics or whatever, just to get a foot in the door and understand the niche a bit more. And so long as you're, honest with the approach, I think most people will be like, "Well, yeah, I'll take a freebie." It doesn't mean you'd work with them ongoing, because obviously starting off on the free footing is not always advisable. But I'm talking about you and your team learning about something. Sometimes you don't get paid for that time when you're learning.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I did. I offered free SEO audits for the first, it was quite painful at times, because people would ask for these SEO audits and I'd be sitting there going through them. Sometimes they don't always work out to become, like you say, they don't always work. But one thing I have noticed, what I have started doing, is I'm offering it again, but this time I'm offering the free SEO audit. I'm going to document the process on my YouTube channel, and then call make the title SEO audit for jet wash business, or SEO audit for dentistry, right? And I'll just do a video, and some clients, most of my clients actually come through my videos. So
I was about to say,
that's
YouTube,
a good point.
Yeah. So what I'd say on that is that everyone offers free audits is the other issue. So when you say free SEO audit, free PPC audit, whatever, every bugger's doing it. Every agency, every freelancer.
Yeah.
So you have to. My advice would be to parcel it up or package it up in a way that it sounds different, even though it's an SEO audit, but just in a way that's a bit more interesting to them, and it could be specific to them. Because it's very easy for people to ignore that now, because they get bombarded. But I mean, I get spammed all the time if I'd like PPC audits, and I just think, well, they obviously know how crap I am. It's down to that positioning. And I'm glad you pointed out the YouTube thing, because doing YouTube is a great lead gen tool. Just, you sit there doing a video just like I do, thinking that no one cares and no one listens. It's imposter syndrome. But I've had people literally email me 4 years later and say, "Oh, I saw this. I saw your video way back when of this." And I'm like, "Bloody hell! I did that video 4 years ago, and we need help with this." And it's like, now that's a long gestation period for a lead to go from cold to warm, but it's happening all the time. And YouTube and video are great, because video is warts and all, isn't it? It's you. And it's your face, it's your voice, it's your opinion. People either like it or they don't, and great, because the people that like it, they stick around. They might want to work with you. They might share it. But it's hard work. It's a slog. Doing good video takes a lot of effort and energy. People think, well, it's just a 5-minute video, but it's all the claptrap that goes with it. But I would definitely persist, because most of my most of the long-term clients are post-video. So we're talking 6-7 years ago, I used to do a video, stick it on my Facebook page, and just put a bit of money behind it, just to advertise it. to anyone and anyone that's interested in the topic on Facebook, like £5 a day, $5 a day, just let it tick over. It wasn't lead gen. It would be something like, Google Ads update for, I don't know, May 2014 or whatever. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just to position me as, oh, this guy knows about this stuff. Oh, this guy's that boring that he keeps up with the news about Google Ads. Well, he's the kind of guy I want to hire because I don't want to, Mr. or Mrs. Client, I'm sat at home and I've got kids and dinner and I want to read a good book. I don't want to read about PPC. That this Ed guy does. So I should pay a fool like him to do that. And it works. It works. And it's pretty much been the best thing that I've ever done.
Completely. Yeah. It's one of those, I mean, as you say, like instead of selling to them on a video, educating them, two very different things, and works because a lot of everything on the web is usually, sell this and free this, like you say, like it's oversaturated free stuff, right? And selling this and, and sometimes if you switch it to maybe education, how to do this, maybe, I do this and how did I get here? It usually works quite nicely. And another thing I wanted to say is with YouTube videos, it kind of shows the business owner obviously it kind of just shows the personal side as well to the business as well, and the business owner, like showing you that they're taking the time to create a video to educate their clients. But I think that works really well, and it makes you different compared to maybe another agency or another person. So
yes, definitely. And there's another thing as well, that competition's massive in what we do. SEO, PPC, social media, marketing, any kind of marketing, advertising. Everyone and their dog now is a professional in some kind of marketing niche or whatever. So standing out is really difficult. Anyone and everyone writes a blog. Anyone and everyone posts updates on social media. And whilst YouTube has a lot of people talking about SEO and PPC, it's still fractional, the amount of people that put their face in front of the camera, because it's not easy. And I struggle every frigging time you put a camera in front of my face. That's why my camera is off center, because I hate staring into the camera because it makes me so uneasy. I feel like I'm in a lineup again. So we are still abnormal people. To do video is abnormal. I don't know. None of my friends do video. I beg your pardon. One of my business friends does video, but none of my friends do this sort of thing because it's weird. So this is a lot harder in that respect, doing video, putting yourself out there, than writing a blog and sharing your thoughts on LinkedIn. And that's not to discredit those people doing that. What I'm trying to say is you're doing the right thing, and I'm doing the right thing, I believe firmly, by doing, putting yourself out there and doing video. It's harder, takes longer. The gestation period is often a lot longer as well to get people into your audience. You've got to keep turning up as well. And that's another hard thing. I never stuck to a schedule. I was rubbish. I should have been putting a video out every week, or, I notice you've been slacking, so you need to up your game. But if you keep showing up, you could be the next Neil Patel. God bless you. But he's grown from being that. He's grown from being just, he's shady as fuck. But he's also
you have to hand it to him. Yeah.
He's consistent. He's been there. He just chucks it out left, right, and centre. So he's a prime example of someone that just is relentless, and it's made him a lot of money, probably a lot of enemies. But it's an extreme example. We don't have to be like him. I've done perfectly well. I know I'm wearing a shite old T-shirt, but that's just because I don't care what I look like, really. But I've done very well. By me. That's all I've done. I've just done me.
That's it completely. And obviously you've created a excellent product. I must say, well, there you go. Yeah.
I've got Actionable as well.
Yeah, that's it. So, and it's just, I'll probably move on to that a bit more now. But before we go on to it, I had a couple of questions from the Facebook group, only two. But
hold on. Can we just say, so My Facebook group, there's nearly 1,000 people in there. They are all customers. They've all bought God tier out, well, most of them, and they're a great bunch. But Leo posted, just to anyone that's listening to this, posted why has my camera gone blurred?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my rouge face. So Leo posted in the group to say, I'm interviewing Ed. I need some questions. And I think two people could be asked to. So they're like, no, we're not that interested in him. We want the good information. We don't want to hear about him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a very small Facebook group. It's about 200 members as well, and it's the same in there. Sometimes I do these little case studies where they do which landing page works better. Right, one of the landing pages was X amount of percent, and compared to this one, and I ask them to guess which one works. I just don't get any reply at all. But one group I would recommend for anyone out there, by the way, not my Facebook group, I'm join that. It's the conversion rate optimization junkies, I believe. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like all about how you can structure your landing page and your website to convert more customers, and it's quite interesting, especially if you do PPC.
That's the problem, isn't it? Too many social media platforms, too many groups. Hey, look, my group's brilliant. They're really receptive. They post all the time. I think it's just, I don't know. They're probably being polite. They probably didn't want to ask me any horrible questions. But yeah, so I wasn't being rude to them. And you only gave them a day. So hey, they're busy.
I get it.
80% of them are agency owners, or they work in agencies or freelancers. So, they're all right.
Things to do. Yeah. Okay. Well, one of the quite an interesting question. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize. But it's a great question. How do you structure your day and week, and how do you plan for contingencies? So, how do you structure your day and week?
God. Yeah. So I'm gonna say, hey, my camera's come back. So I'm a creature of routine because I think it's really important. It's also really boring. So I literally follow the same routine Monday through Friday and Saturday, actually. I get up at 7 every single day. I go down, have my breakfast, same breakfast every day, 3 Weetabix, bran flakes to the top with blueberries. Boring.
Oh, lovely.
And then I go for a walk. Excuse me. Then I come home, have my coffee, double espresso if anyone cares. And then I have a shower, and then I'm ready for work for 9 o'clock or 9:15 every single day, same routine. So that gives me 2 hours of headspace in the morning. And then from there, it's chaos.
Yeah, well, at least you get that kind of 2 hours of headspace before.
So, yeah, I don't plan. I mean, my calendar is very, very free. And I hate being tied down to meetings and to do calendars. I hate calendars. I don't want to sit. What is it? It's 10:30 in the morning here. I don't want to sit thinking, oh, I've got an 11 o'clock after this. Oh, I've got a 11:30 after that, and then I've got a certain amount of time for my lunch. Now, look, I've earned the right. I've worked bloody hard on multiple businesses for 11 years. So I've earned the right to do that. And I appreciate some people just starting out might be like, well, I haven't got that option. I've got people that are demanding my time. I get it. But perhaps aim for a lighter calendar. So it gives you the freedom to do what you need to do in a day to get things done, as opposed to just being pure chaos. And I also have a cut-off. Apart from last night, I worked till 11, which is far too late because I feel balls today. But I have a cut-off 9 p.m. So I will have my dinner. I'll break for lunch at 12, through 12:30, same every day pretty much. I'll break for dinner at about 5:30 through to about 6:30. Then I'm back normally working again through to 9 o'clock. And then I'll read a book or something. I don't really watch TV. Although I did watch I binge watched a program called Dark, a series called Dark. It's German. It's very dark. Quite good. Yeah. That's about the only thing I sometimes watch stuff, but not very frequently. So my days are pretty much the same structure.
Yeah.
What goes in them is entirely up to me. So this morning, for example, I checked Slack because I've got Slack for my agency. I've got Slack for my developers, for Ad Evolver, which is my tool. I've got another Slack. I've got emails, and essentially it's what comes in. So I just don't schedule. It's like I know what I need to do for me, and that's priority. So yesterday I had to get a video audit done for the God tier workshop. It had to be done, otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I worked on it from 9 till 11 o'clock at night with a lunch break and a couple of pee breaks. And that meant I ignored my emails. I ignored everyone. I mean, I checked probably once, twice, popped onto Facebook to answer a few questions in the group. And that was it. So you have to be really strict. You can't piss about on Twitter. You can't pee about on LinkedIn. You obviously, there are days where you can, but yeah, I think it's too easy to get distracted, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure, completely. I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits at the moment, and it's all about how you can, everyone says, oh yeah, you should set a goal and stuff like that. If you set the goal, you'll get there one day, things like that. But this guy, he basically reversed the whole idea, and he basically said, focus on the habits that you're doing every day. And then, you could have a certain amount of habits every day that you do every day, and you won't even need to set a goal almost. Well, obviously, but like you get
habits.
Yeah, obviously they can work the other way as well. They can work for your advantage and your disadvantages. But he talks about just having habits, and they can work really well. For example, doing a video every day, or doing a video.
Listening.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, things like that. So.
This is a book that I really like, and that's by Nuri Al. It's Hooked, and it's all about habit forming.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But this is more around how to. It's sort of a little bit psychological because it's about how to create a product that is a habit for people. A bit like social media becomes a habit, and so that's interesting. But you can also apply certain things to your life, and like you just said with that book, I'm a firm believer that positive habits are way better than to-do lists and.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to wake up to a full day schedule every day? I
mean,
mean,
that's it.
It's just not doesn't work for me. I mean, but everyone's different. So
yeah. It's one of the benefits, I guess, if you work for yourself. Sometimes you get to choose what you're doing for the day. But no, for sure. Another book I recommend you guys, and I recommend my subscribers, if people watching, is something called They Ask and You Answer. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's all about. I'll give you a kind of brief outline. It's a guy who started a pool company back in the day, and then the financial crash happened, and he lost his company. But he's discovered something where he sat down one night and he thought of every single question his customers ask, right? And a lot of local small businesses forget to answer, as simple as pricing on your website. Those things like that. And he talks about, the importance of answering every single possible question and becoming the knowledge base of your industry. So like, if you think about who's the knowledge base of like the medical industry would be like, I don't know, I can't remember that really big site, WebMD or like.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
There's another one that's called, I can't remember what it's called now, but it has loads of articles and loads of things around health. But it's
examine.com.
It might be
his website. But yeah, you're right. They position themselves as the information leader.
Yeah.
On a topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's smart. I'm going to wave around another book now. Hold on. Oh.
Yeah. You found another one?
No, this is how nerdy I am. I mean, this is older than you.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Wow.
For anyone that's old like me, that's the original. That was 300 quid back in 1999, and that's the granddaddy of graphics cards. That is. It's probably good. Hopefully, it's going to be worth a few million quid when I retire, but I don't have the box for it.
Yeah, maybe.
And yes, it lives on my desk. So I told you I was a nerd. This is what you just spoke about. This is another good book, and as you can see, I've got bookmarked it. Never lose a customer again. And this is for literally anyone that runs a business. And it's really good. So even small local businesses, it has examples about dentistries and stuff like that. I bought it because I'm building the SaaS product, which is a customer-based business, not a client-based business like SEO and PPC. So that's a really interesting book, and it's really actionable as well. Because I find a lot of books in our industry, marketing books, are just fluffy. They're just, you want action. You want to be able to read a chapter and go, I can apply that and take away from that. And those two in particular are quite good for that.
I completely agree with you. I know exactly what you mean on that front, because when I first started out, I knew that I wanted to do something, but I kind of didn't really know what it was just yet. And I looked at all the different kind of gurus and stuff like that. I think one of the guys was a guy called Gary V or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah. I mean, he's crazy, isn't he? When I followed him, I mean, his advice was good, I guess, about general like life and, I guess content, I guess you could say, but it was never really actionable. You can never like take it, and I guess you could apply it to certain areas of your life, but like, I like things like having your pricing on the site, right? That's just simple, actionable thing. Adding your pricing to your client's site. Have you added it to your site yet? Have you added reviews? Things like that. So I completely agree with you on that front.
Gary V is incredibly energetic and successful, but he is the perfect example of what is it? Do what I do, not what I say. Is that what they say? Is that the same? So he gives all these talks and stuff like that. But he preaches and he puts the content out and he does all that. And you've got all these people following along and inhaling it and taking it in. But they should be doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to listening to what he's consuming, because all they're doing is tuning into essentially Gary's version of Netflix. This constant content. They're getting their dopamine hit. Gary V today, Gary V this. And fair play to him. He's very successful, but do what he does, not what he says. That's it. That's the takeaway. So you literally watch one video and go, right, that's what Gary does. Walk away, then go and do it. Don't get hooked.
That's it, because it'll make you feel better if you're watching those videos, as opposed to, I guess it's easier said than done, really, isn't it? So
it's so easy to get inspired and motivated because there's no work involved, and but that's why most people are not running businesses or successful, because it's bloody hard work. And I think once you get past the learning phase and to the application phase, and not to be critical of people, because I've screwed up so many times and made so many mistakes. I've lost a fortune as well as made a decent amount. And not a single step of the way has been easy. And it's not, it's so... mentally, I'm very tough, but my God, some of the things that I put myself through to get here, it sounds like I've pimped myself out in a prison or something. It's not that mentally tough, but it's tough. If you want a successful business, unless you're really lucky or you had a brilliant idea that no one else has thought about, then for the rest of us, it's grueling. I still work, and also you've got to be like me, I think. Oh no, maybe not. No, don't do that. But I've got 4 bloody businesses. I haven't got time to run one.
That's it.
But I'm spreading, I might be spreading myself, and I'm a single founder. Everyone I talk to is like, oh, you should have a co-founder, because then it's so much easier. And I'm like, oh, tell me now. I can't help myself. I have to diversify, and I guess I enjoy the punishment.
Yeah. I mean, it's long nights, like you say. It's long nights sitting, on your computer and killing your eyes, and that's stressful, I guess. And it's all part of a learning process, I guess. And
it is.
Yeah, that's what it is, really. I mean, I don't like the fact that it's quite glamorized as well. Entrepreneur and cool cars and things like that, and watches. And it's not like that at all. Yeah.
I haven't got a Rolex on. I could go out and buy 50 of the bloody things. I don't give a toss. I don't care what. At the end of the day, and this is, I mean, I'm deadly serious. If someone judges you based on materialistic things, if they judge you based on the car you drive or, you know, where you live, those people are not worth your time. They're not worth knowing. I walk around in grubby old trainers, this like crappy t-shirts that I've had for years. I don't care. If people were to see me, they'd be like, "Oh, well, just whatever." I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I don't care if I rock up in a bloody Range Rover Sport or in a Robin Reliant. And to Americans out there, you've got to go and Google that.
You know, no,
completely. People are so transfixed on appearance and what it says about them, even though they go home and, you know, cry. All these Instagram influencers and all that nonsense. I just cannot. I sound like an old man, a grumpy old man, cantankerous, and I probably am, but it's because I do the hard work and I pop my head up once or twice a month to do a bloody video, talk about the stuff that I talk about, and then I vanish again, and I'm actually doing work. And then I look at LinkedIn and what have you, and these people that are posting every single day, I just think, what are you? You can't be busy. You can't be busy. You can't live on social media and tell me you've got a successful business.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's it. I know what you mean. It's making money off of the idea. That's what they do, don't they? They sell courses.
Hey, I sell a course.
No, what I mean is, but you've actually built a company, built a business. These people,
three now.
Yeah, sorry, I keep
forgetting. I've got 4. Losing track.
Basically, you're a successful guy, and you've got proof, right? And then these guys, you know, they make money off of selling the idea, you know, courses and things like that, and they don't actually have businesses themselves. Really, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yes.
But yeah.
Gotta focus. There we go. I think it's low light. Yeah, you're completely right. If someone only sells a course and nothing else, you just got to do due diligence. I mean, YouTube's full of it. The people that you've never heard of before, then all of a sudden, a year later, they've got 100,000 subscribers and they're selling the next best thing for dropshipping. And it doesn't happen. You don't turn into a bloody business guru in 6 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or 16. Not 6 months, and yet people are just so willingly, freely chucking money at them. Like, oh yeah, this course is going to make me a millionaire from this guy because he's made £1 million. He said 6 months ago he didn't exist, and I can't find anything about him. But I trust him to give him money.
That's it. No, completely. Yeah. To next question, obviously from Nick Platten. I know this is maybe a bit. Obviously, I don't know if you'd need to do a screen share. I'd probably not. You'd be able to tell me. I mean, it's how to tackle and untackle a complete mess of an ad account campaign structure without losing good data. I know you were going to do a video on this. I know you said that in the.
Well, yeah, I'm literally yesterday was an audit workshop video. So Nick's asked a question that literally took an hour and a half. It took about a day to record and edit to answer. So, but the long and short of that was consolidation. Often in an ad account that is in that situation, it's too thin. It's been spread too thin. It's really granular, and you've got loads of keywords that are barely driving any impressions, let alone clicks and traffic. You know, if half your keywords are like 10 impressions or less a month, you've got too many keywords. You've made things too complicated. So it's literally a case of take 5-10 steps backwards and drop back to what's working, what you know works, and then consolidate down. So if you're targeting an individual location for 50 campaigns, there needs to be a really good reason for that. And is it because the landing page has to say something different, or there's a different budget for a different region of the country? And if you start saying no to any of these things, then the account's too complicated and you just need to squish things together. Prime example is if you're advertising in America and you're targeting every state, every 50 odd states. I can't even remember how many states there are now. So, and you've got a campaign per state. Well, you probably find that 2 or 3 states spend 80% of the budget, maybe. So maybe focus on those, and all the others you condense down into 1 or 2 campaigns. So it takes you literally 20 times less work to manage them. And when you consolidate and squish things together, you improve the data because you get more of it in one place. Otherwise, all you end up doing is having to export everything and start pivoting it in spreadsheets and stuff like that, or using third-party tools. And even though I'm making a tool, Ad Evolver, I still believe that you don't really need a tool, particularly to manage an account. You shouldn't have to use a tool. The tool should be there once you get to a certain point and you just want to support your sort of processes and stuff. You shouldn't try and get a tool to fix a problem. You should be skilled enough to fix the problem, to know why it's broken in the first place, if that makes sense. That's not having a go at Nick, by the way. It's a good question because it's a very, very common problem. Overcomplicating complicating ad accounts, so the data's so thin that it makes it just pain in the arse. You don't know what to change and what to do.
Yeah, completely. Well, there you go. Hope that answers your question, Nick. And obviously, I'll leave a link if you have uploaded that video.
Hey, that video's on the subscription, so it's a paid one.
Right, I see. Okay, yeah. I need to join that. I do need to join. I was planning on joining it, and I never got in time. So, but when you next open it,
the excuses.
Yeah, sorry about it.
I don't expect money. I don't expect any subscription or whatever. I'm still amazed by the fact that people are paying me money. I feel sort of very appreciative of it, that people would listen to me and pay me money for me good, waffling on.
Yeah, no, completely. It must be a wonderful feeling, really, completely. You'd be to go over the. I wanted to go off. It's a bit off topic, but I just wanted to talk about the Ad Evolver. I personally, I know your subscribers in your group. I just want to know a bit more about that Ad Evolver. Is it like making? Go for it.
Oh, you're going to say, is it making money?
No, is it making the? I took a wild guess, but does it make the Google Ads dashboard a lot simpler to read, or is that? Am I just completely?
And originally, I've been making it for 3 years. Originally, it was to fix a few headaches of my own, and it was mainly around budget management and monitoring. And we were trying to automate budget management as well, because in the agency, the biggest mistakes that we've ever made as a team is to cock up a budget, overspend, particularly on a Friday afternoon, doing things on a Friday afternoon, come back Monday, and it spent $5,000 when it's meant to spend 50 a day. So there were some fail safes and some automations around that. Like, we've got a thing called Budget Defender, which it knows how much your account should spend each day within a certain tolerance, because every day is different in a month. And if the account starts to go over by a certain amount, it's gonna hurt your monthly budget. It will pause everything, and then it will re-enable in the morning. So it's just fail safes like that. So for an agency owner like me, it's peace of mind, going to sleep at night. But it had to be more than that to be a product. So then we expanded it into ad testing. So there's a nice ad tester for confidence, statistical significance. So when a click-through rate or conversion rate's good versus one that isn't. And then there's search query steroids, which is actually probably the best tool. It shows you search query trends at the n-gram level. It shows you how each individual gram, 1 grams, 2 grams, 3 grams upwards, have performed across the year. So the good thing about that is it helps you find wasteful keywords, not keywords, but individual words hidden, buried in the account. On a small account, it's less potent, but anything sort of mid to large, probably half the accounts out there, it's a really potent tool. And you can flip it on its head, because of course, you can also find really high performing n-grams as well. So you might find a 2 or 3 word phrase, and then you're like, wow, this is really performing, it converts. I can now look in the account and start sniffing around to see what keywords I can pull from that. And that will turn into an automated thing as well. Eventually, it will automatically apply negative keywords based on the rules. And then next, you mentioned it, the dashboard. We are building the dashboard, but it's not just a dashboard. It's and I don't want to give too much away because no one else has built a dashboard like it. There are similar dashboards, but it's a dashboard that allows you to interact with every ad account, campaign, and ad group from one level, and it's dynamic. It updates the data, the trend data, the alerts dynamically based on what you're looking at, which is quite novel, and it would save me a heck of a lot of time, which tells me that it would save other people time. We were in early access. We're in a private early access at the minute, and we have 22 subscribers, very kindly paying, which is great because essentially they've supported it early, because it's not finished. It's more than usable, but once the dashboard's in, we're going to go public with it because it's going to be potent, and hopefully that goes well and pays for itself. Because here's another thing: I've invested 6 figures in it. You know, fair few $100,000 or more up to this point building it. And again, it's like, you don't just pluck. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I wasn't given any money. My parents were brilliant, but they didn't chuck money at me. So the money has to come from somewhere, which means to produce stuff, you then have to, you have to have a success elsewhere. So and that's how I spend my money. I don't go out and pee it on, the next McLaren or whatever, so I can stick it on Instagram with my red face. I mean, I don't look very good in the sunlight. I take that 150 grand car and I turn it not into a car, but into a business or an investment. I'm boring, I don't know. But I'm 38. When I get to 45, I want to not have no worries whatsoever. I'll probably get some kind of health ailment then. Financially, to be just like, it doesn't matter anymore. You've done so well, you don't have to worry. And that is, I think that is probably my meaning of life. Yeah,
that's the goal, isn't it?
It's just to not worry. Like, I don't have to thrash about running 4 bloody businesses well, I don't anyway. I like to bludgeon myself with work, I guess.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah, no, for sure. You answered it very well. I'll have to check that out, by the way, because it will, definitely check it out and see if I can use it. I haven't personally. I work with mostly SEO, but I'm trying to obviously get better at PPC and paid advertisements and things like that. So could work very well. All right, then. I know I've kept you for quite some time. I'll ask a couple more questions. Going back to the book, the client loyalty book, what is one kind of technique that what is kind of one system that helps that client loyalty that you've learned that you use on your clients and things?
Just ask them, and this is going to sound so ridiculous, but just ask them what they want, but really what they want. And it starts at the onboarding for me. It's like, where are you today in your business, and where do you want to be in 12 months? What does that look like? So is it a monetary thing? Is it a size thing? Is it, what is it? Because as soon as you know the owner's goal, or if it's a large business you work with, it might be a marketing manager's goal that he gets paid for, or he's been hired to do, or her, he or her, it's whatever. So that's the thing, isn't it? So that's the motivation for them. So if you keep aligned with that and you talk about that, that's the thing that retains them. It's like, Ed, we want to double business in 12 months. Okay, that's it. That's the thing. Nothing else matters. That's what they've said. And that will retain them if you achieve it, if you think you can achieve it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't, or you can't, you tell them. You say, I don't think that's realistic, but we can probably get you half the way there. Are you still interested? Cool. Okay. And let's monitor it and work towards it. And I think it sounds simple. It's obviously not in practice, but that is the overarching thing, isn't it? It's about them, not you.
Completely. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. One thing, I would, from my experience, is obviously communication, simple, easy, just keeping communication with the client every month. One thing I do, like a project management tool, we usually have, and then I'll just usually update them on that project management tool. Kind of like with some of our SEO campaigns, we almost set it up almost like they're tracking a project, even if you're tracking like a parcel, right, coming to your house, tracking the different weeks, tracking the different months, seeing what's going on. And that's one tip that I would just say, for client loyalty and things. Yeah.
I think that's far more important with SEO, and content, and maybe even social media. It's very difficult for us to do that with PPC because it moves every day. But on the plus side, the client can see it every day because it's immediate. You spend the money and it's immediate. But yeah, you're right. SEO, having some kind of, even if it's like a template in a Google Drive that you're working through, that they can watch you work through just with basic comments. Because my experience of agencies is, the big agencies that are not very good in terms of specialisms, because they're too big. The reason they're successful is because of the relationships. So often it's not about the results, unfortunately, because for me, I'm all about results, not the people. I'm not that gregarious, but it's worked for me. But I think actually if you scale, it more comes down to what you've said, and it's about the communication, and the communication takes over, which I hate. Because I hate it being about the fluff. I want it to be about the metrics and the results, but that's not very human. It's a bit cold. And it's so a balance of the two maybe, but
Yeah, I know there are some big agencies out there. I think there's a big agency called Scorpion, I believe, but they basically have built their own dashboard for clients to log in and basically see, the leads, basically the details they want to see, really, the leads, the convert, things like that, the rankings or whatever, they're looking at. But that's quite a neat system they've got going on there. Okay, well, last question. What's your number one tip for anyone starting a business in today's age? So number one tip.
Jesus. Or any business?
Oh, no. Well, let's say a digital marketing business or a PPC business.
Well, I guess it could be any business. Start with the heart, not the head. You've got to really want it. And it touches on the stuff we were talking about earlier, the Instagram influencers, all the BS. Like, just ignore that and think about the hardest, worst thing you could possibly put yourself through. It's grueling. It's like training for a marathon that never ends. Are you prepared to sacrifice social life, money, time, family? I know it's sad to say it, but because it could be better than that, but it could be worse than that. So you've got to be serious with yourself, and you've got to work hard at it, and it doesn't happen overnight. And do something like you're doing and that I did. Do videos, or if you're not comfortable in front of the camera like me, do a podcast. Podcasts are great because it's intimate. Build, and it might take you years to build an audience, but tough shit. My email list goes back to 2012.
Wow, yeah.
My average open rate is, hold on, I don't want to lie. So I've got 4,000 bang on emails. Now, bear in mind, it's taken me 10 years or so to get 4,000 emails. So a lot of people will be like, 4,000 emails? Okay, this list has made me the best part of a million quid, if not more. The average open rate is 45.57% over the entire age of that email list. All those years, every other email I send gets opened. So that's the power of a small, 4,000 people is not small. I mean, and most of them are bloody customers now. In fact, amazing. Yeah, thank you to anyone that's on my list. So that's the power. And they came from my content, video, so on and so forth. So take it seriously. Do your thing that you're comfortable with. Don't do what I did and do video if you're not comfortable, because it's a barrier. It stops you, and it does slow me down, I'll be honest, because I feel, I get a bit head up. But try not to do a blog, because everyone does a blog, or if you do a blog, be really niche and specific and talk to those people you want to talk to. But be prepared for the graft. Do it because you want to do it, not because of the financial gain. If you do it because you want to do it, you'll get to a point where it might be 2 years or 20 years where the financial reward is there. But if it isn't, you shouldn't be disheartened because you've done something you wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure.
It is more important, ultimately.
Which is what life is about, really, I guess. At the end of the day, One thing I would say.
Money.
Yeah, that's it. One thing I would say, quick two tips I'd say. For one thing is, like you say, I've heard this before. A business is like a baby, and you have to like spend as much time, and you have to, it's full. Basically, as you say, you can't continue going out to the pub every night and things like that. You have to focus on this baby, which is, and make sure that it, grows up, I guess, and becomes a successful business and makes money and things like that. And another thing I would say is they can tax everything that you have, but they can't tax your brain. So learn as much knowledge as you can get. Really read as many books and I guess consume yourself.
That was more cheesy than the sort of thing I say, but yeah, you're completely right. You're completely right. You're regardless of your situation, you can always learn and improve. Even someone that's homeless and won't be bloody watching this. And if they are watching this, how the hell are they homeless? And have a smartphone. Everyone seems to have a smartphone regardless. I mean, I can't afford pants, but I've got a smartphone. But you can literally go to a library for free in most places and take a book to learn something. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. You can always improve yourself, regardless of other people. Ignore other people. They're not important unless they're family.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. And that's, for sure. And that's about it, really. All right, then. Well, I think that's...
one last thing. Find someone that's also a naysayer.
Yeah.
Someone that says, you're not going to be able to do it. You'll never amount to anything. Because I had one of them and I proved them wrong. In fact, all my school teachers thought I was useless.
That's it. I mean, to be honest, when I started doing videos, all my mates were like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And in 10 years, if it goes right, they'll be like, that was easy. You got lucky. And you'll be like, what?
That's it. Right, then, well, I will, if you want to get the God tier ads, guys, I'll leave a link in the description below. Join Ed's group as well. I don't know if you have to get the God tier ads to join the group. I'm not sure.
It is now a God tier ads private group. We didn't really even talk about God tier ads, did we?
No.
Which is a shame. But I do, because you asked that question at the end, I do, and I hate talking about money, and I'm not going to mention specific numbers, but I just want to put it into perspective for people who might be on the fence or concerned about hard graft and what have you. God tier ads have sold 1,500 nearly copies in 6 months. You can check out the price. You can do the maths for yourself. I've now got nearly 200 people subscribed on top of that to the monthly workshop, which were $50 to $80. So, and I still have to pinch myself. Those people are amazing. If you're watching this and you're subscribed and you listen to me, thank you so much. I am being sincere when I say that. But they wouldn't have given a toot about me if I hadn't put the graft in. They'd be like, who the hell is this guy? But they know that I think most of them know that I've been grafting for so long. So Leo, keep grafting. You'll get there. And anyone else listening that hits a brick wall, you just, step back, but try climbing over it tomorrow.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Ed. I really appreciate you coming on to the interview today. I know it was quite some time, but thank you very much. I hope to speak to you soon.
I'm very verbose. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Leo.
See you later. Bye-bye.